always have this Tuesday call every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, education, that's what we're going to be bringing, is all kinds of stuff. We have an incredible lineup coming too of people that are going to be on the calls. Big names, big names that you wouldn't even expect. And we're finding out more and more people have ADHD. So I'm going to move to the breakout that we did. And I see that we actually have one panelist on here too. Let's see, just one. And we have quite a few people. So I know we have Sheena on here, so we'll probably bring her on too. And I want to pull up the notes for this, and I'm going to do a screen share again. Actually, let's see. Okay, and Jeff is here too. Oh, awesome. Okay, yeah. Oh, and somebody posted in the chat what I'll say too. This is a community, because I know a lot of people are new, and I forget about this. This is for neurodivergence. We have the focus on ADHD because it's that quiet whisper. This is why I named it ADHD. It's that quiet whisper that if you got diagnosed as a kid and you didn't really think much of it. Neurodivergent is a newer term, and not everybody's as drawn to that. This is also for neurodivergent. I mean, I'm on the, I have Asperger's, so I'm on the spectrum as well. And I have OCD, I have ADHD, I have a nice collection of letters, PTSD. And so this is the label, and it's an umbrella for everybody. And so we'll have people come on that are on the autism spectrum, that have mental health stuff, LGBT community, military. I mean, we're looking to get representation for everybody, different ethnicities. I'm going to have somebody come talk about intersectionality, and I want to pay them of what that is. And so we have a lot of stuff coming. So yes, this is umbrella for everybody. I saw that comment. So I'm going to go through this. This was our presentation, 5 secrets of the ADHD millionaire real estate agent. What I want to talk about first is, one, why we had a registration. So, and this will be different next time. We are, I guess I can turn my screen off just for a second. We are a new group. We're 6 months old, and that's it. And so getting a spot to have a breakout at Fairmont Union for a 6 months old group is really rare. And we got that. And the reason we got such a big room was a big deal too. We had a room capacity of 240. The reason we got that is we did a registration to show KW how much interest there was. So it's not something we're going to normally do. We had a room capacity of 240 people. We snuck in 100 more on sitting on the floor on the carpet, which you'll see on the video because we have the recording on that now. And the fire marshal was not happy. And if anybody left to go to the bathroom, they couldn't go back in. And we turned over 500 agents or more away that we couldn't let in the room. It like broke my heart. It made me so sad. And the reason we had the registration is because we said, hey, know that there's such a need here. And this is why we need that. So it's not going to be something normally that we do. And I also understand putting a registration in there is not as ADHD friendly. And so that's why we did that. And I think they're getting the message now, especially with just the feedback everybody's giving is amazing. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share. So here, this is in the video. These are the 5 secrets of the ADHD millionaire real estate agent. For the couple months leading up to this, I studied agents doing $1 million in GCI or above. If you don't know me, I'm a MAPS coach for 6 years now. I've done 9,000 individual calls, coaching calls a lot that have ADHD. And then also before that, I ran a team. At our highest, we were 86 in the world for units. And so I've been studying agents that are doing over $1 million in GCI. And what are the 5 common themes? And this is what the presentation was about. And so I use the acronym GIFTS. And these are the 5 things that all of these agents over $1 million in GCI had in common. So one was get the systems in place that are ADHD friendly. So I'm going to do a quick overview, and then I know we have a few people on, and then this is impromptu. And so we have a few people who are on the panel. So I'm just going to ask you to speak up after I do a quick overview and give 2 minutes if you want on your topic. So the first one was getting systems in place that are ADHD friendly. And you're going to get the recording for this. So the main point was it doesn't have to be this complicated, crazy system. Have you ever heard that with agents like, oh, I need a system. And it's like, what's the tech and what's this complicated thing? How we do this? No, it can literally be something simple where you write it down, or you set up an email to go out in the morning because you thought of it at 2 a.m. And that's when the idea came to you. It doesn't have to be this crazy perfect thing. It can be simple and it can be good enough for right now. Something that's ADHD friendly. If a certain way of doing things doesn't work for you, you have to push, then it might not be for you. Internalize ADHD as a benefit. This was about seeing it as a benefit and highlighting your skills. If you're a fish judging your ability to climb a tree, you're gonna not feel good. If you're getting yourself in water, right, and you're flowing and you're cruising in that water, that's where you need to be. If something's just a straight up grind for you, then in your real estate business, it's probably not something you want to do. Go for the path of least resistance that still hits your goal. And we want to figure out what is your joy zone, what are you great at, and then how do we get your job description in that. Next one, F, focus on lead generation that's connected to your passions. Sheena, which I know she's on, so we'll have you after I go through this quick, is Sheena gave back over $636,000 to charity. They did over 4.6 million in GCI. And by the way, all our panelists were doing 3 million in GCI or above, and there's a lot of them. So this is lead generation that's connected to your passion. If you have to spend 2 hours in the morning getting motivated to do lead generation, then you probably should be doing a different type of lead generation. If you're helping people and you love it, you're not going to have to get motivated. You're going to be excited to do it. And that's what's so great, right? If it's too hard or makes us sad, it's not for us. I thought that was a great quote. And then time block in ways that work for an ADHD brain. This was Jeff. Minimize distractions, build a bunker. Because we have 10 times the amount of thoughts with ADHD, we process really quick. And if you've heard of squirrel, right, like squirrel, we've heard of that, or that's kind of synonymous with that sometimes. All that is the person or whatever is in front of you, you've already processed that, you're on to the next thing. It's not that you can't focus, it's you process so fast, you're bored, you're on to the next thing. So the person might not be talking as fast. You'll notice I talk faster in these. If I was doing a presentation for KW, I'd talk slower, and yet we have a lot of community members that actually will, if they read a book or listen to audiobooks, they'll turn on 2 to 3 times the speed because we process so fast. So if I'm talking too fast, let me know. I've gotten the feedback that it's actually good and people can pay attention. So minimize the distractions. We have so many thoughts, so you want to make sure that you minimize those distractions, and especially a lot of us can be noise sensitive, and that can pull away as well. And then surround yourself with the right leverage. This was Chuck. Really having a team around you, leverage out the stuff that you don't enjoy. I don't care who says you have to do it. If there's a way to leverage it out, do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. It's really about creating a life that you love that highlights your strengths and highlights your abilities. So those are the 5 things. Now I'm going to ask if we have. And I'll send this out as well. And then if you look at the notes on the YouTube video, actually, I'll go to that. We also have these notes added under those. So again, this is unlisted right here. So you can see down here, we have all these notes. I put these up. So all these notes are down here. And then we also have quotes, which is really neat. These are other millionaire real estate agents. We could have done like 5 panels. These are quotes of what they love about their ADHD brain. So this is all on here right now, and I'll drop this in the link one more time. And so all those notes are there. Yep, we're going to make things as accessible as possible. So now I'm going to turn off screen share, and I want to see, raise your hand if you're on the panel. No, I think I saw Sheena. If you were one of the 5 on the panel. Okay, well, Will's a quote. Yeah, we'll use Will. Oh, Jeff. Okay, is Jeff, is we have consent from Jeff? That's so funny.
Come over when you're ready.
Okay, wait, hey, we're ready for him now.
Very focused.
And Will's a millionaire real estate agent as well, and he's actually on our quotes, one of our quotes. And Will's, if you don't know Will Van Winkler, you're kind of a big deal.
Not like that. It's too big. They want you to talk.
Of that. We're describing his bunker. Yeah.
Oh, he's distracted.
We don't have to if he's.
No, he's coming up.
Yeah, okay.
Don't miss this, buddy.
So
there we
what's
go.
really interesting about Jeff and why I pulled him for our panel is Jeff had Jeff, and I love this about it, is you had a business that was doing over 3 million in GCI, and you actually decided to scale it back because it wasn't your life by design. And I thought that was so great, because it's not always about more and more and more. It's about designing the life that you want. So, so do you want to speak to time blocking? Because that was your letter. Do you want to do a couple bullet points from?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I did was just find that how I worked best was I had to focus on one thing at a time and have everybody just leave me the heck alone. So I would be, in a corner, door closed, door locked. If the phone rang, someone else got it and just said that he was on an appointment, Jeff's on an appointment, and I could be on an appointment with myself. I could not even be in the building. It just enabled me to be able to stay in my lane for as long as my mind would allow me to. If I get distracted, like we used to joke, it could be 9:30 and then all of a sudden I would look up and it could be 2:30 and I didn't do anything at all that day. If someone distracted me at 9:35, I couldn't even remember what I had done, because I probably didn't do much of anything. I just do something for 5 minutes, jump over here, do something. So I just worked with my coach and my team to understand that that's just how I operate. So if I don't look up and smile or wave hello to you, acknowledge that you're even in the office. It was bad a couple times. But honestly, like, I had people on my team who were like, do you not like me? Like, what, they message other people. I just had to actually sit people down and say, I love you. However, in order for us to continue together, I have to do my job such that you can do your job and we can all be here together. Otherwise, yeah, you're not going to like 2 to 3 months from now. It's not going to be fun. So I had to just hone in on that. So I think Will posted a picture of my desk. I'm in like the smallest room. That's probably 8 by 10. And yeah, I just got like a little light bulb with no lampshade on it. It's actually kind of embarrassing for how much money we make to know, but whatever, like whatever's comfortable for you and gets the job done. Yeah, it's odd, but yeah, that's how I operate.
Well, and what was so neat too is you shared that you netted $1 million in 1 year, right? That was impactful for a lot of people. You might
Multiple
speak
years in a row. Yeah.
ADHD brain, you know, and so that was really impactful for people to hear. And you said you don't have a lampshade, right? Which
Yeah.
Two of us in this office netted $1 million.
That's right. Yeah.
which I think a lot of times there's an image that we think you have to do all this stuff or look a certain way, things have to be perfect or all these things to be successful, and you just have to help people, and right, I mean,
Exactly.
figure out what works for your brain.
Like you find what works for you, and then you have to ignore the noise or like the comments. I mean, obviously people are going to say different things because that's just their perception, their reality, and we have to accept that that's their thought process. We all have a perception. We're all different, right? So you just have to go where you belong, and then ignore that people may say or do things that you don't like, and you just have to say, well, right, but I am who I am. We're not here to all conform to be the same person, right? People, how to put that another way is just, right, we all went to family reunion, or we're all on this call and you can see a million different backgrounds. We see the world through our mind and our eyes, and you have to let go someone else thinking or doing something differently. I mean, I know it's tough. We're all judgment machines, society in general. Just to say, like, screw you. Like, that's, I love my family and my bank account and what I do to help people every day. So I'm just going to keep doing it my way. And I've got accustomed to that.
That's so good. Yeah. So you'll hear like follow the model, right? Gary talks about that. I know you've been in some big rooms too, Jeff. And Keller also says models are not mandatory. And so if you try a model and you're beating your head against the wall and it doesn't work for you, then what we're hearing from you, Jeff, is do something that works for your brain and just trust yourself, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think Gary intended to say it has to be done this way. He just said, right, based on the thousands of people he's interviewed, this is a guide. Where we see many people on stage that do it a lot of different ways. So you find what works for you and you modify it.
That's so great. So that's a great lead in because I want to go to Sheena next, who I see with some beautiful wallpaper. So Sheena
Great.
was lead generation. So Jeff was time blocking, Sheena was lead generation, and so that's a great segue to you of do you have to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, Sheena, as somebody who's done 4.6 million in GCI and give back $636,000? Do you have to wake up in the morning at 4 a.m., do the whole routine, and then do lead generation for 4 hours every day using certain scripts that don't feel authentic?
Thank you. I don't believe so. I would not be alive if I had to wake up at 4 a.m. That sounds awful. Yeah, I do think there's a lot of pressure to do that. I feel like there's so much pressure from everywhere, especially on big stages. But yeah, that one I just really physically could not conform to, so never really tried it. But that's not for me. I go to sleep at like 1. Get up at 8. And really follow my passions. I love to read. I love to cure loneliness. I love to create community. I love learning, and I love learning from other people. And so that has allowed lots of opportunity. I think what we do really well at Keller Williams, and Tyler, you're just such a great testament to this, is like taking what you've learned, packaging it in your own special way, and helping others. And I've tried to do a similar thing. Every book I read, every KW training I go to, like what I learned today, I'm probably going to share that with people in my community. And it just brings people closer to you. And it's that whole idea of give and take. Like you give and you give and you give, and it will return to you in abundance. So yeah, I just on that, those two things that Jeff was just talking about, I think like 5 or 6 years into real estate, I mean, I was making money I would never have dreamed of, working in nonprofit for years. And I did buy an Audi, a used Audi, but it was really nice. And my husband bought a used Audi because we thought, I guess we've made it. Like we need to drive this car. We moved into this neighborhood and it really helped us to fit in. And it didn't take long before it was just like overwhelming to me. Even though we continued our financial trajectory up, I was like, I'm worried about somebody hitting the car. I'm worried about it being dirty inside and having to keep it clean. And if I keep up leveling like my lifestyle to meet whatever this need is, or to fit this profile, which doesn't really fulfill me anyway, when is it going to end? So just to take the pressure off, we sold both those cars and we drive used Ford Explorers. And we're pretty high up there in Gary's group, and it relieved so much pressure. And I think it really speaks more to like who we are, because we're just not, and I don't think there's any judgment on people who like luxury. Like I like nice sneakers. So, but I think that was one thing that it really relieved me, to not have to worry about a fancy car and having to pay for it and all that. And I think the second piece he was talking about was you're like looking down and not like participating with people and maybe them thinking you don't like them. I had to create I call it my systems of empathy. Because I also wasn't taught that as a kid, to like use your words to tell people you appreciate them. So I have our director of operations sends a gift to our staff every 4 weeks. She decides what it is, so that they definitely get that and I don't have to think about it. And we like give her a budget and she chooses. She knows them probably better than anyone anyway. And then my executive assistant has a meeting with each of our agents every week, just to see how they're doing, conversion, that kind of thing. And again, see how they're doing. And if anyone is a little bit off, then I set up maybe 2 or 3 Friday calls with them. So I'm really checking in on them. So those are kind of my systems of empathy that I've had to use.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you've done, I mean, given back so much money, built wells. You brought you got a van that brought like showers for homeless people, right? That you would drive and you would help. So I think the main thing to watch for is, I mean, I know I did. If anybody else has had a set idea of what success looks like, because it's a lot of times when people are on the stage, it's a highlight reel. It looks really shiny, and do it this set way. And there's so many different ways to do your business, and especially with ADHD, a lot of us do well with structure and then freedom within the structure. So if you're on the autism spectrum, you might want a little bit more structure. And yet for a lot of us, if it's too rigid, we can rebel like a teenager. right? Have you ever had, if it's too structured, if it's too rigid, we can rebel like our teenager. And then also we can have kind of all or nothing mindset. Black and white thinking, all or nothing thinking is common. It's also common if you have substance abuse history or if you have trauma. And so we think I got to do it perfect or not at all. I got to be extreme or nothing. I got to do this huge workout and lose all this weight and get my body fat percentage or not, and I'll start Monday. And it's really about doing it your way, in a way that you can do that does. It's not so structured that you just shut down and freeze and get paralyzed or you rebel against. And it's also consistent with the goal. So it's okay to not be consistent with the process. We want to be consistent with hitting the goal. That's really what it is. And so we've got example after example, like Sheena and Jeff, of people who said, hey, I want to make a difference. I want to help people. I'm going to trust myself. Because the other thing with ADHD is, if you ever grew up with, hey, why are you late? Why can't you focus? Why'd you forget that? All this stuff, we can start to not trust ourselves. We have a lot of times lower self-esteem. We can be perfectionists, overcompensate. And so when you get in a situation where we can be very coachable, and we have this person that's up here that's saying you have to do it this set way, we're like, man, I have to do it that way. I've got to do it that way. I can't trust myself. I'm not going to break the model. And what we're saying is, actually, yes, you can, as long as it's in alignment with the goal, if that makes sense. So if you can't sit to do lead gen for 3 and 4 hours and do a script that doesn't feel authentic, find a different way. If, let's say, your goal is hitting 1 appointment a week, we'll find a different way to hit 1 appointment a week. And whatever that looks like is okay. So I'm going to hit, I know we're already at 4:30, so I'm going to hit just a couple bullet points. And I do have a document, and I just added it to that sheet as well, where we compiled all the notes of everybody in the group. You can still add yours, just email me. So it looks like, I'll do another screen share really quick, and I'll drop this in the chat. So I added this quick. See, these are community notes, KW Family Community Notes right here. And I'm going to drop this in the link one more time. So these are all the notes from people in our group that we compiled in one spot. So it looks like this. You have Mel Robbins. And so we made it easy to read, asking. So there were so many breakouts. It was like 25 breakouts per session. It was crazy. So you'll see these are notes. You'll see who in the community wrote the notes. And yeah, we have 74 pages. So if there's a certain one you're looking for, you can press Control F and search, and search that way if you want to do it that way too. So yeah, we have incredible notes here, and we have pictures of slides and everything. Yeah, so it's pretty neat. We have vision speech. We do a couple different takes on that. So again, that's right in here. So I want to hit what I want to hit. I'm going to hit like 2 bullet points, 2 or 3 bullet points, and then we're going to open it up to the group to get the ahas from the recap today. And anyone can chime in on that. I want to hit on the vision speech, just a couple points from there that Gary Keller did, where he gives an update on the industry. And one thing in there, let me go back to where it was at. He talked about sales. So last year, agents averaged 5.5 sales. This year, they're predicting it to be about 5.7. So if you had sold a bunch one year and your numbers are down a little bit, I mean, basically talked about, hey, we're in the winter, and the winter's not going to all of a sudden turn to summer this year. They talked about being in a contact sport, and he predicts that there'll be another 300,000 agents that get out of the business. Now, however, with this agents getting out of the business in this winter, after winter comes spring, and he really means it. So if you hang on, you stay in the business, which I know everybody here will, and if not, you're going to message me or anybody in the group. We're going to keep you in. After those agents clear out, this is an incredible time. When I was in production, we get so excited about recessions. Not the fact that it was hard for people. All it was doing is just freeing up market share like crazy. And with real estate, a lot of us can be like want short-term gratification. Well, it takes 90 days from a contact to turn into a closing. 90 days. And so a lot of agents just drop out, and it's like you're planting seeds that are going to flower. And so you just plant and plant and plant while everybody thinks the sky is falling, and they get out. And then all of a sudden everything flowers, and oh my gosh, you have more sales that you can handle. And now you have all the market share because people weren't calling because they were feeling, down on that. So think about the future here, about what's going on. and know that it takes 90 days. So even if you've been doing lead gen like crazy and contacting people for 2 months and you're not feeling the results, see that all the time in coaching, give it 1 more month and then you will absolutely see it. So that's what I wanted to throw out there, is that this year predict 5.7 as the, sides per agent as the average. And watch your expenses, like Sheena said. Cut some stuff, do some small things to ease up some pressure. Volume, if this is helpful, volume of the agents is used to be in 2021 was 3.6 million in volume was the average. Last year was 2.6 million. So just again, last year was a pretty hard year for a lot of people. And let's see, late payments, distressed sales aren't really happening a bunch yet. They are seeing late payments on the rise. Underwater homes still at an all-time low. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the main things to think about. It's just hang on. 300,000 people are going to step out. And then I would say Mel Robbins, from what I've heard, has been a big takeaway. There's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. I'm not going to tell you because I bet somebody's going to raise their hand and share what it is, and that's going to be their aha, and they'll probably explain a little bit better than me. We had Tony Robbins come. One thing that I'll add from his that I love from his notes is he said, don't, oh man, now I'm going to butcher it in front of everybody because I had it written down somewhere. Where was it? Okay, so Tony said, he said something, just hold on. But basically he said, don't go for motivation, or go for drive. I might have butchered that, but it's basically what we're talking about on here is follow your joy zone. Don't try to get motivated. Don't try to do that. Like, go for what actually drives you. That's easy. So I'm gonna stop talking now, and I want to open it up to the rest of the group. And so what we ask on this usually, so I do 30 minutes of content. That way it's on an hour because that's long. It's bullet points, and then we open it up for Q&A. So this is kind of the Q&A/share aspect. So I want to get, let me know your aha if you were there. One thing, keep it to 2 minutes or less of your aha, 1 to 2 minutes or less of that would be helpful for the group. Michelle, you got your hand raised first. I think you're still on mute. All right, let's go to Brittany while she's figuring that out. Brittany, what was your aha from the event?
So my biggest thing was seeing all of the agents, and Sheena had brought it up too. All of the agents who were like themselves, completely authentic, completely just showing up exactly how they are. Most of you that have seen me or you've added me on Facebook, like you see, well, first of all, you see her, my tiny assistant, and then you see me and how I go out in my bike shorts and my t-shirts and my Chuck Taylors and my Vans. Like, that's my style, that's my thing, and I live in Central Florida and it's really hot. Hi, thank you.
Oh, baby.
So, yeah, she can't hear you guys, but she's happy to see you guys. But so I struggled with that so hard my first year, and I was so uncomfortable, and I was like, man, this sucks. And then going through the conference and like seeing everybody exactly how they are. And then I met Jay Papazian, and he actually said, he was like, I like your style. And I was like, okay, so first of all, if everybody here can do that and say that and be dressed in exactly how they are, and then he can say that, I'm gold. I'm good. I got this. I came home and I'm like, I have so many shirts I'm gonna make now. I have shirts that I'm making for her now with like her little jeans and leggings and stuff. Like, no, like you, and I show up better, and that was my whole point. Like, I show up better as an agent and a fiduciary for my clients because I'm comfortable. So like, for any agent that's struggling with that, just show up, man. Like, it's so cool, like, to be just comfortable and show up, and your clients know, and they're so happy with it. So that was my big takeaway, and I'm not taking it back.
That's awesome. That's so great. That's so great. And I forgot to mention for the Zoom calls too. One, you can have your camera off if you learn better with it off. There's not a requirement here. Some people process better with it off or walking. And then two, the first 30 minutes is content. You're not required to stay on. You're not required to be on every call. You know, I just want to make sure there's no rules here. We're here for you. And if you want to see just the cutest little girl waving, then you probably want to stay on. So, okay. Next we have Michelle.
Hey, sorry about that. So I agree with Brittany. I had a great experience seeing everybody in person and how they were. And Tyler, I'm so glad that you had your cup filled, because you've done so much for this group. So we really appreciate it. I think I speak for everybody. So I'll go ahead and do the Mel Robbins 5, 4, 3, 2, 1
Yeah.
thing. So basically, when you've made a decision to go to do it, you just count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And that it saved people's lives who were suicidal, and it helped people just get out of bed in the morning. Like when your alarm clock goes off, you're going to just get up or you're going to snooze it. So if you, and I'm in mastery coaching. So my coach, had asked me this morning about my aha, and, we were talking about this, and she's like, so what did you take away really from Mel? And mine was that I can only do 3, 2, 1, go. Because 5, 4, 3, 2, like my high D and my I'm impatient, doesn't let me do the whole 5 seconds. So I noticed in my life, I do a 3, 2, 1, go. I get out of bed when the alarm goes off with a 3, 2, 1, but I can't handle a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But Mel says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So if whichever works for you, make it work for you.
Perfect. Yeah, because we have a lot of us with ADHD have executive dysfunction, right? Which is where a lot of times we think it's procrastination, which procrastination is when you could do something and you choose not to. Executive dysfunction is you actually want to do something and you it's really hard, or you feel like you can't. So that's what it is. It's like based on neuroscience, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and then you just move like a part of your body. It doesn't mean you have to go do the thing. And then that can ignite that part of the brain that might not light up in the same way, especially with ADHD, because Mel Robbins has it, and it can make you do something. So if you need to do the laundry and you're sitting there beating yourself up and you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do the laundry, and you do something weird with your shoulder, with executive dysfunction, it's hard to get started. So it actually kind of is that first little baby step, and it can definitely work. Yeah, Anna, you're next.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so many takeaways. I think my biggest thing for me has just been the revelation behind like understanding that, the whole ADHD. And I love the example that you gave with the fish swimming with the current of water instead of, going against the current, or I love how you say like climbing a tree. So for me, ever since being back from family reunion, it's been literally seeing my world with completely new eyes and understanding, okay, what are the things that I'm going against the current on, which is causing for me, which is now causing me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like kids and that kind of thing. So it's like, and they're hearing me and they're now like picking up on things, and they and I'm like, yep, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, I just have to like bring myself down, and then also like grounding my heart, like taking that moment, putting my hands on my heart and just connecting, to God and understanding on how he created me to think the way that that he did, and how unique we are. And now like I'm already like
I
with
think
my business, like
so Anna, your service is coming in and out. So I think what I heard in there that I think a lot of people nodded their head to. Your service was a little spotty. So I'm gonna recap what I heard, and then we'll go to Rhonda. What I heard in there is like, look at what feels hard. Look at what feels like you're trying to climb a tree as a fish. Like what's draining you, and just appreciating how your brain is wired. That's what I heard in there, and designing your business around. That's so great. Okay, so now I want to move to Rhonda. Rhonda, you had your hand up next.
I did, and sorry that I can't turn my camera on. It's giving me a message camera being used by other apps. I don't have any other apps up, but anyway. I was at the session at the family reunion. I'm not a family member of Keller Williams. I was invited guest.
Oh yeah,
you guys are freaking awesome. You guys are so freaking awesome. I did not realize how faith-based Keller Williams was, and it just warms my heart. Every session I went to was amazing. I'm the big crybaby that was on the floor in your session there at the at the beginning. So if anybody does want to know what I look like, just watch the video. I'm the big crybaby on the floor. What I took away most was the session with you, Tyler. Like I said in that meeting, I'm 52 years old. I've never felt like normal. I've never felt like understood. I've always felt like the black sheep of the family. And when I walked into that room and heard you speak, I was the black sheep, but I found my herd, and it was just, I can't explain it, or I'll start crying again. Thank you. Thank you for listening to what your calling is, because you are helping all of us and you are changing so many lives. Big takeaways. Tony Robbins said, we don't experience life, we experience the life we focus on. I'm changing my focus. I'm not focusing on, the things I can't do. I'm going to focus on the words that you guys said in that meeting. I am more than enough. And I'm going to wake up every day and tell myself that I am more than enough. Ever since leaving the family reunion, people ask me what I'm on, what I'm taking. I'm on life, and I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I wish I could reach through the screen right now and just.
I know. That's you're amazing. Yeah. So in the middle of the presentation, I just saw her on the floor, like tearing up. And so I couldn't help but go over and give her a hug. And she was super brave to speak in the microphone and just share what she was experiencing, and that she wasn't with KW and she's about to join now. And just like, to have a tribe. And that's these Tuesday calls, right? These are brokerage agnostic. And, there are 3,000 agents that tried to join KW ADHD who were struggling. And that's why I opened up the Tuesday calls, is because it's not conditional, right? If you retire sometime out of real estate, or something happens, or you move to some weird part of the world that doesn't have a KW, I still want you to be cared about and have help. It doesn't matter if you close 1 sale or 100 sales, you still have the exact same value and you're still important. And so these are the stories that we want, right? It's just people. We just love people. We want to help people. So thank you for your vulnerability, Rhonda. And yeah, we love you. And so yeah, you have to come to the next one, and then we'll have a huge group hug in the fire marshal.
Yes. Well, yeah. Thank you. And you speak to, someone else said, love your customers, don't love real estate. And that's what you guys do with each other. I notice you KW people, you just love on each other. And it's awesome. And God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's so many people on this call and in the community that help set the dynamic for our group too. The first 500 to 1,000, just helping out, being kind, and so they helped the ripple effect, and then everybody that joins. It's incredible. Yeah, Julie.
Hey y'all, how's it going? I was sad to miss the mastermind, but honestly, I gave myself grace because I was zapped, and so I caught a flight home early because I was done. So I definitely took a lot from the main keynotes, but and a huge impact from those actually. But there was also a class that I took with Jay Papazan and Nikki Miller. If you ever get a chance to hear Nikki Miller, she's one of my faves. And it was the magic of getting everything that you want. And there was one component that really stood out to me, and it's being clear on what your priorities are. And if you're not clear on your priorities, or if you're not focusing every day on your priorities, then what are you even doing? And the biggest takeaway was, if you are starting your day reading emails, you are starting your day with other people's priorities, not your own. And that was a light bulb for me, because I get up, I'm doing my emails, I'm thinking I'm doing work, but where's what I want to do? Where is my focus? Where are the things that are my one thing? They're not. I'm just reacting. And so to shift that mindset, it helps me to get out of that spiral now. So now I start the day with the things that get me closer to my goals, not get everyone else closer to their goals.
That's a great. I saw a lot of people go, ooh, like you called them out about the emails, and that's great. That's so helpful. Maria, you're next.
Hi, everyone. Tyler, I just want to say thank you. I've told you this like via message, but I just really want to say thank you. I was looking for clarity when I went into family reunion. This is my second one. And I was so excited when I saw that this group was created just because it was needed. I feel like, you know, KW culture is amazing, but this just takes it to a whole different level of understanding and care and creating a safe place to just be your unique, authentic, messy, whatever you want to call it, you. And I was searching for clarity and I couldn't find it. And whenever I heard Sheena, I might be messing up your name, I'm sorry. I just I haven't even spoken to her, but I connected with her in that moment because it was very simple of just do the things that you love to do, which sounds like so silly that was the biggest takeaway. But I've been doing script practicing and I've been doing the cold calling and, you know, I've been doing all the things because I've been told that I'm really good at it. And in that moment when she was sharing about how you just have to do the things that you enjoy doing, I told myself, like, just because someone tells me that I'm good at doing this thing doesn't mean that I'm meant to be doing it. And so that shifted my mindset of the things that I enjoy doing have zero to do with cold calling or, you know, script practice is important, but at the same time, there's other things that I enjoy doing more. And so that I came back home and I completely renamed my calendar, and my lead generation, which was named lead generation, is just now the things that I enjoy doing. So if it's social media content creation, it's social media content creation because most of my business comes from that. And the other thing that I took note on was that don't be shamed or normalized, and neurodivergent means not average. I was officially diagnosed this past year, and so it's been really hard to not be hard on myself and not like shame myself, and being in that room full of everyone that was just so authentic and genuine just felt very safe. And I realized I was like, I've been really mean to myself with how I'm speaking to myself. And that sheet that you gave of like the shifting of the mindset of what ADHD is just was it was life changing. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, there's if we have time, if we don't, I'll post it, but there's a genetic advantage. There's a reason ADHD exists. There's a genetic component to it. And I'll share. I want everybody a chance to share, and we'll come back to that. Yeah, it's there's a reason, and it's actually incredible. So let's go to Marie. Yeah, we got 3. Yeah, Marie, let's hear from you.
Hello, thank you. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you to the panelists. And I have spent the last 18 years trying to navigate the ADHD, neurodivergent autism world for my children. And I've always been the one that's trying to figure out solutions and support for them. But to have that in reverse for myself, knowing that I too needed support and help in a professional world of knowing that I'm capable, but not having the tools or that open discussion, life-changing. Like the last 8 years of real estate and with KW, like changed, all of that changed last week at family reunion. And specifically when the panel talked about leverage, and even if it's like 3 hours, you know, you just need to hire someone for 3 hours or one specific task. It's like really reevaluating and almost creating an IEP for myself and my business of like, what do I need? Where are my strengths? Where are my weaknesses? Where can I leverage that out? And what are my goals personally to grow within? It reframed everything for me. I don't know why it took me so long, but also Sheena was on a panel with other agents talking about social media. And I think drilling down on like who exactly my avatar is, who am I marketing to? And just like Maria just talked about, not trying to be everything to everyone, but really getting singular and focused on like, who am I? What are the systems that work for me? Who is my client? And really simplifying things. I appreciate that you guys provided this platform, that these speakers were so open, and for all the work that you're doing, Tyler. Like, it's beyond anything I've seen like on an educational, like K through 12 level. So like to see this in a professional career setting is mind blowing. And so I appreciate you, and I'm so glad that all the people who have found it, are finding so much support with it. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. And know that, I mean, I'm wanting to know what the need is. That's what I'm assessing, and that's why this group is being formed. And so we've already had someone. We're going to do a call for kids too. So that's why these Tuesday calls are going to open up, because you might have a kid, you might have a lender. There's a lot of stuff coming as well, and so that I'll post it in here, like the virtual suggestion box. I just post a link to everything. There's a virtual suggestion box. So if there's something you're needing support on, or you want help with, or a gap or anything, we get to do that. And yeah, this is for you. You guys work so hard. Real estate is hard. Sometimes, like, it's hard. Sometimes it feels great and it's easy and you're like, wow, that's amazing. And other times, it can feel really hard. And yeah, like I want to support you too and give you tools. And so we have a lot of stuff coming. And so just keep letting me know, and you deserve support and resources and help. And KW ADHD, I own its affinity community, which means I take care of everything, which means I don't have to give a profit back to KW, which means it stays free. So that's why we're an affinity community, if you're wondering, instead of an official community. So we may not get the same visibility. I think we're getting it word of mouth, but the reason that is to keep it free, because I don't ever want a barrier to access for resources. So if there's anything paid, it's like a course that I took 50 hours creating and I had to charge in order to do it. And we always have scholarships. And because we have such a big group, it's priced way lower than other ones to make it more affordable. So just keep letting me know what you need and what the pain points are. We'll have mental health, like trauma therapists, come on too, and have kids like marriage counselor, ADHD friendly. We're going to have other entrepreneurs, operations. Like, there's so much stuff coming for you. So yeah. Cindy, you're next.
Thank you, Tyler. So this is a wonderful group. And when I joined it, I think I was around the first one. I mean, I've been on it a little bit, but that group and seeing all the ages, we've had young people, we've had old. I didn't get diagnosed until I was 51 when I was a TL in Greensboro. And now I'm 63. And I got diagnosed with dyslexia at 14. So I've been dealing with, and they didn't do that back in the 70s. So it was just so amazing to see all the different ages and how much what you've done for like the young people, Maria and all the ladies that really have. I wish I had this when I was your age. That's all I'm going to tell you, because I was just different. I was just always different. My whole family's like this. My boys were diagnosed at 13 and 16, and they're 37 and 34. One's a real estate agent, one's a caddy on the Korn Ferry Tour. But we find our lane. And the biggest thing for me was Mel Robbins. Did everybody just not, like, that 1 hour to me was more powerful than the 3 hours with Tony Robbins, even though I love the rah-rah, don't get me wrong. But Mel Robbins, we are one decision from a different life, one decision away from a different life. So whatever you can do today, it's turning people. Look at all these, the IEP. That's from high school, right? We never had that for my boys. They were too, I don't know. We just never did that for them. One of them took medicine, and I did take medicine. Anybody been older and take medicine and you go like a fog? Have you ever, I took a medicine for a year and I came off of it because it made me completely different. And so I'm me and I embrace it in my 60s. So I just enjoy this group. I cannot wait to learn more because we're always learning. So thank you again. I'm going to cry.
I've cried a bunch. Yeah. Well,
yeah. This is amazing for all ages, whatever. And I'm glad that you are doing kids too, and you're bringing us all together because everybody can learn from somebody else. this was my 17th family reunion. So I've been with KW for 19 years. I've only missed one. And what you're doing has really solidified how embracing we are with everyone. And that makes me so happy because I love this company and our culture.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Thank
this is
you.
this is our community. It can look how we want it to look, you know. And we're working on. I'm working with MAPS coaches, and I'm giving them the framework and the tools. So as many MAPS coaches as take the class, and I'm thinking of not charging for it because I just want the education out there. Will be ADHD informed and get it and be more flexible and not see it as an excuse and understand the difference between procrastination and executive function. So that's happening. And then 70, and then we'll go to Trevor. 76% of our group are women, and the average age is about 40. So we have some outliers that are younger, and it's first off, a lot of women don't get diagnosed, more so gaslit by doctors. I mean, I had a coaching client fit everything on the DSM. I have 4 years in mental health before this. Everything on the DSM criteria for ADHD, finally goes to the doctor, works up the courage, and suggests bipolar or something like that. And it's not. I mean, and again, I'm not claiming to do that. What I'll say is, if you look at the DSM, I've worked with extreme cases, so I'm not licensed, and you want to go to an ADHD specialist for a diagnosis. And what I'll add on that too is with meds, if you feel, and I'm working on getting somebody on for that. I've talked to him a couple of times. If you feel fog or you feel like you're not yourself, go to an ADHD center, get genetic testing. It should feel like you're putting on prescription glasses in the morning, where you just feel like yourself and you can actually take action. That's what it should feel like. If it doesn't feel like that, go to an ADHD center, reach out. If you choose meds, if you choose to go that route. Some people don't, and that's fine too. Trevor. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks to everybody in the group. I feel like everyone, I mean, some rock stars on this call for sure. Everyone's definitely made an impact that spoke today on this call in my life. I feel like my biggest takeaway from the conference was actually out of your Tyler, the breakout session you did about going small to go big. You talked about assessing where you're at in the morning, whether you're having a green, yellow, or red day.
This is, can I pause you for just 1 second? So
yeah.
Just people know, so I was on a breakout panel for like focusing on your 20% that wasn't KW ADHD related. And that's what he's about to talk about. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to
No, please.
It's not in the notes. Yeah. Okay.
So and just meeting yourself where you're at first thing in the morning to attack the day, and whatever capacity you can. I feel like I'll be the first person to admit that if I woke up in the morning feeling even slightly off, I would definitely be apt to just throw it out the window, and probably have a very unproductive day. Well, it just happened to be the Monday after family reunion. I had a red day, and what I did is I met myself where I was at. I accomplished one task, and I ended up having a green day, and I actually ended up taking a listing that day. And I feel like it was the first time I really realized that, your perception's your reality. And once you realize that you can control your perception, you're able to control your reality.
That's so good. So good. So we're at our official time. If you need to go, you can. I'm gonna share more about the genetic advantage of ADHD. So sometimes if there's overflow on this, but our official call is done. So you're welcome to head out if you want to. It's recorded. This is live streamed in the Facebook group, and we have notes that we post too. So what he was talking about, and it's such a good point, is like you said, red, yellow, and green days. Where my favorite thing, I'll do this quick. Is like what's a popular stock? Just throw it out there. Google. Okay. So what we're going to do right now, I want to do a screen share. I want to show you something because this is the concept of red, yellow, and green days. So let's look at Google stock. Okay, so here we go. So Google, I mean, who would like to own Google? Who would like to be the owner of and have stock, like be one of the owners of Google? I mean, I would, right? I mean, so if we look at Google and we look at year over year, so it went up over the last year, over the last 5 years. Year to date, though, it's down. If we look at 6 months, right, we have ups and downs on different months. If we look at the month, month by month, different days, it's up and down. 5 days, up and down. There's down days, and then even during the day. And so to think and this is a company with a board of people who have got masters and all kinds of degrees in business, and it still doesn't go up every single day or stay the same every day. There's ups and downs during the day, during the month. So to think as one human being that you have to be the same every day or double every time that you do it, and you can never have a down day or you're going to beat yourself up, is just completely unrealistic and ridiculous. Like, we are human beings. And so as you see, as long as you have, as we call green days are where you're just crushing it. You can do anything. You don't have executive function stuff. You might do food prep. You might work out. You might, hit all your lead gen. Green day is when you're just over and above. Then a yellow day is when, maybe you go for a walk or you do an exercise or you do the lead gen you need to do. And you're not just totally over the top and crushing it like a green day. And a red day, for some people, they can't get out of bed, depending if you have other comorbid diagnoses with ADHD, or you have trauma, or you have, like a chronic illness or just stress. And so a red day is going to be a day where maybe you can't get out of bed, or you just do the bare minimum. It could look different for you. It might be that you heat something up for food instead of cooking. It's defining what a green and a yellow and red day looks like is really helpful, because if you wake up and you start to recognize what kind of day you're in, then you can set the expectations. Because if you wake up on a red day and your expectation it has to be a green day, you're just going to beat yourself up all day. And guess what? Tomorrow you're going to probably have a red day because you're tired and you beat yourself up and you had to pull yourself out. And so having different expectations and plans, like on a red day, if I have PTSD, if I wake up and I have flashbacks, which doesn't happen as much anymore, I'm not going to expect to just be a time blocking ninja and all this stuff. I might just eat like a cereal or something. I'm not going to cook breakfast, and I might just go for a walk or just stretch on the floor, because going to the gym is going to take too much, and then I might do whatever maintenance. So it depends. And so that can look different for everybody. So that's such a good point, Trevor, is just, and you can even track on a calendar if you have a red, yellow, or green day, and you can see a pattern, and that can be really helpful too. And then you can say, okay, on my green day, because I have 50% red days, I'm going to do double the lead gen on a green day. And so it just helps you plan and set expectations. So it just depends, and a red day for you might be you get out of bed, or it might not. It's just different for everybody. So that's what that is. A great point. I'm going to tell you the genetic advantage. So again, if you want to hop off, you can. I just want to let you know this. So genetic advantage, if you haven't heard this, they studied remote villages in Africa, and ADHD is primarily genetic. And so they studied villages that had a prevalence of ADHD and villages that didn't. And what they found is that the villages that had ADHD thrived significantly over the ones that didn't, because of the way our brains are wired. So when there was a famine and the village was going to starve, we were the ones that would go out and hunt the lion, right? And we anybody do well under pressure or stress or chaos, you actually get calm. So because our dopamine is lower in a lot of us, when dopamine spikes too much, you can get anxiety. So for us, when there's a lot of stress, we can actually get calm. That's why we have emergency workers, performers, high pressure jobs, actors, sports athletes, presidents, past presidents, inventors. So there's all kinds of emergency care workers, police officers. I know we have some former police officers on the call. And so when we had to go hunt the lion, we would actually get calm. And we could go for days, right? We have time blindness, where it's trouble to gauge how long it takes or how long it's been. So we don't think, oh man, it's been 4 hours. We're like, let's get hyper focused on this lion. And we're not going to worry about eating, or if we need water, or what time it is, or if we're injured or anything. We're just going to get hyper focused and kill that lion and go to do that. And so that's what we're built for, is to go do that and to save the village. And we might do it for 3 days and not know what time it is and bring it back. And then studies show we have more creativity. So we actually could figure out how to preserve the food in the weather that they had. And then also on top of that, studies show with sleep schedules. So anybody here who has kind of off sleep sometimes, or struggles to go to bed, so some of us for sure have that. And what they showed in their studies is that we were the ones that watch for danger at night. And so some of us can be lighter sleepers, where we might stay awake and watch for danger. We have less impulse control. We're less risk averse, so we could jump up and we could take action without thinking about it. We're more intuitive, and we'd watch for danger. And they showed that for a lot of us, not all, A lot of us, though, our sleep schedules are delayed by 2 hours, where we get tired 2 hours later, and mornings might be harder because we get up a little bit later. Now, it doesn't mean everybody, and you'll learn if something does or doesn't resonate in this group. That doesn't mean you do or don't have ADHD. It's just a majority, and so that's why it's wired. And then what I'll say too is some examples I gave in there is that Walt Disney had ADHD, so he could get lost in his own world, super creative. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, above our heads. Alexander Graham Bell, inventor of the phone. Some examples I didn't give there is Picasso and Leonardo da Vinci had ADHD as well. Picasso had dyslexia, so his style of painting, he actually saw things backwards, and that's why his style is so incredible and unique, because of his dyslexia and how he switched stuff around. There's so many incredible people who have ADHD, and billionaires, Richard Branson, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. So part of what we're going to do, and I started an education company, which I'll share more later on in the year, is to flip the script on this and to start seeing ADHD and autism and neurodivergence in a very different way. And it goes way beyond KW. So I'll share more about what that looks like if you want to be involved. It'll probably be third quarter, because it's not just we're going to stop at KW. We're going to change the narrative around this for everyone in the world. I mean, we're big thinkers, and hello, welcome to big thinking land. We're gonna not only just help ourselves, we're gonna make a big difference. So I haven't shared that with anybody yet, and it's called ADHG. So instead of D for disorder, ADHG for gift, and the tagline is embrace your gift. So that's coming third quarter. You're the first ones to hear about it. I'll share more. So you are actually made to progress as society, and you are necessary, and your brain is incredible, and we're gonna keep changing the narrative around that. So we're 10 minutes over. You're incredible, all of you. I feel so blessed to be a part of this. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me. So message me if you need anything, if you're having a good day, if you're struggling, whatever, you have a whole community behind you. And next week, we're going to start that Monday private mastermind. So I'll send more information around that. So So we'll see you next Tuesday, and we're going to vote on all kinds of topics. So we'll have a lot of good stuff each week. So have a wonderful day. Be grateful for your amazing brain, because I know I sure am. And we'll see you in the Facebook group. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for all your contributions, by the way, for the AHAs. All right, take care.